Hey y'all, it's my review for the Real Housewives of Miami, episode 7 and 8. Yes, we are back to the double episode reviews until I get my ish together. Just wait for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm going to do something I've never done before, and I'm going to cram 3 episodes together because that season was such a effing disappointment. But we'll talk about that later. Let's get to Miami. So if y'all remember, this episode left off where Alexia and Julia was having their disagreement from the following day after Alexia said some ignorant stuff about Russian women. The argument continues in the sprinter, and I love how Julia isn't backing down. Like, I'm just so taken aback how she clocked in this season. So they're going back and forth, and Alexia resorts to telling Julia, oh, you're just jealous of me. I'm a star, and I always will be. Girl, please, before Peacock picked up Miami, you went back to obscurity. Nobody was thinking about you. Let's keep it a buck here. Also, when she says this, Gertie, I guess, made a face involuntarily, and then Alexia has the nerve to say, Gertie, don't make that face. Excuse me? Honestly, I would have did the same thing as Gertie. I would have been thinking, who this chick thinks she is? I think there's a difference between telling Gertie, oh, don't make that face, as opposed to, Gertie, why are you making that face when I said that? You know, that would have been a little bit more respectful. But thankfully, things calm down when they arrive at their destination where they're going to learn how to make mojitos and roll cigars. Now, this sounds very fun, aside from making the cigars. If it's one thing I love during a destination that's hot, it's a mojito. Whether I'm in Mexico City or Miami, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, yes, I want a mojito. So they all get a moment of peace during the mojito making, and then they all sit down for lunch. Alexia is now trying to reassure the women that she's not ignorant and she's actually for women. Are you? Are you? Who did you vote for in the last election, Alexia? The topic now at the table is about Lisa and how she might go to an event this weekend where her ex-husband is most likely going to be with his mistress. Julia then asks the table, where do we go from here? Because she's still pissed at Alexia. And then Alexia says, are we talking about this again? Like I said, I'm sorry. What more can I do? You can be sincere about it. That's what I think she really wants from you, instead of making excuses. It seems like Julia is over the comment that she made about Russian women. What she actually has a problem with is when Alexia tried to compare themselves and then say that she's jealous of her. Gertie then enters the chat and says no one at this table should be comparing themselves to each other. Like, we're all on an equal playing field. Like, everyone should share the microphone. She goes into this analogy, and I knew what she meant. Everyone should be heard in this group if they have an opinion. Why are the other ladies trying to pretend like they don't know what she's talking about? Like she's speaking a different language. As she's trying to explain, it just seems like there's a disconnect at the table. Like, no one understands what the black girl talking about. I mean, Garcelle had the same issue. I think that was her first or second season. She said that Kyle really didn't acknowledge her, you know, like her opinion. Like, they would involuntarily brush off what Garcelle brought to the conversation. And I'm glad eventually that Garcelle found her footing on Beverly Hills. Also, I'm kind of bummed that Kiki was silent while Gertie was trying to explain herself to the other women. It wasn't that hard to grasp. Gertie then calls out Alexia for dismissing her, and then we cut to a couple of ladies' confessionals, like mocking Gertie's expressions, like, whoa, ooh, Even Kiki's joining in on it. So now the two of them are going back and forth, and Alexia secretly got a problem with Gertie being acknowledged in Vogue because she keep bringing that up in their arguments. The whole table is yapping about it now, and Alexia gets a tantrum and walks off. Afterwards, most of the ladies move on to the cigar making activity, and then we see Gertie and Adriana still at the table. Adriana reassures Gertie that her opinion is valid and she hears her. I appreciate her for staying and telling her that. I would think it would be Kiki, but I guess not. Also, I think this is the start of an alliance between Gertie, Adriana, and Julia. They're then talking about how they think there's a hierarchy in the group, a pecking order, if you will. And I agree. Like, I would say Alexia and Larsa, they think they're like the queen bees of the group. They said they're not going to stand for it, especially Gertie, who says, y'all going to hear my opinion whether y'all like it or not. So then they all start smoking those nasty cigars, and then the next activity is, wait for it, a shaman. Oh, Lord. Like, I literally just reviewed Real Housewives of Potomac where they went to see a shaman. Reality show cliche number 1002. They're going to do this activity later in the evening, so they all go back to their rooms and chill for a bit. We see Nicole leaving because she actually has a job to do. We're with Julia and Adriana now, and she's talking about how the other women are saying that her man is married, so she decides to call him, and of course he doesn't pick up. So then Gertie comes over, of course, because that's the new alliance. They're walking to dinner together, and Adriana's man calls her back. So she puts him on speaker, and she asks him, "Are you married?" He tells her absolutely not. He's been divorced, I think, for 3 years. At this point, she just has to take him at his word. She has him on camera saying he's not married, so if he lied to her, it's not her fault. She didn't know. We're now with all the ladies at dinner, and Adriana takes this time to invite all the ladies to be in her new music video because she has a single coming out. Here we go again with another housewife cosplaying as a singer. Also, she brings up to the ladies that her man is indeed not married. He told her on speaker in front of Adriana and Gertie. But then the plot twist is Alexia wastes no time pulling up this man's marriage documents online that says he's indeed still married. Now, she could have took Adriana to the side privately to tell her this, and now poor Adriana looked confused all over again. So a little later, Lisa calls the group on speakerphone and lets them know that her life is still in turmoil. Lisa really had to ask the ladies, do you think he's fucking her? Girl. Girl. They're all trying to give her the best advice they can, but homegirl needs a plan. Now. So next scene, the ladies see the shaman. Everyone's in a circle being vulnerable. Now, I'm not going to go into detail what they were talking about, but it is nice to see another side of Kiki, who we don't know much about. And even Marisol drunk ass is being vulnerable. Look at that. This shaman, though, looks like a cult leader or an antagonist in a horror movie. Afterwards, it seemed like there's peace amongst the ladies, and that's the end of the trip. Next scene, we're back in Miami. We get a little montage of what some of the ladies are doing. We're with Adriana now, and she's in rehearsals for her music video coming up. Now, everybody was supposed to be at this rehearsal, but the only person that showed up was Kiki. We hear from her that Alexia told her she wasn't going because she was having a hectic morning. And then we cut to the next scene of Alexia meeting up with Larsa and Marisol for lunch. They were like, fuck that video. And you know what? I get it. Like, they all agreed to be in the music video. They didn't agree to, like, go to rehearsals for this shit. Like, are they getting paid for this? I'm pretty sure they're not. Anywho, Larsa comes to lunch with the tea about over the weekend how she was with Lisa and they ran into Lenny and the mistress. Now, before she explains this, next scene we cut to Lisa meeting up with her mother-in-law. So we're with them now. We see Lenny's mom apologize to her for her son's wicked behavior, and Lisa still looks stressed and humiliated. So then Lisa said she was at this F1 event where she ran into her ex as well as the mistress. She decided to pull her phone out and record them. And she said while she was like badgering him, his mistress started licking her lips like, I'm guessing like Diana. And then lo and behold, I think the next day or a couple hours later, the video Lisa took pops up on social media and everything she said happened in the video. Now, it would have been amazing if production would have had this footage for the episode. They cut to Larsa now telling all the ladies what happened and they're gagged. And then we're back with Lisa telling her mother-in-law she can't believe all this is happening, and then she starts to cry. Again, girl, pull yourself together and make a plan. We then come back to the other ladies gossiping about Lisa's situation, and they're saying that Lisa must have known something that was going on. Like, she couldn't have been completely blindsided. And I agree with that. And they're saying that Lenny's probably doing this to cement the fact that he doesn't want to be with her anymore. I personally feel sorry for her. I've been hearing that some people don't, and I'm wondering why. Like, is it because of something she did in past seasons or something? Anyway, so as the credits are rolling, Larsa said she has some more tea for the ladies. And she said that she heard from a friend that they saw Julia at the bar making out with a man. The ladies are gagged, and that is where the episode ends, on that cliffhanger. Look, another fire episode from beginning to end. I just can't believe even Larsa is clocking in for this season. This is peak Housewives. But let's get to episode 8. So the episode opens on the day of Adriana's music video shoot. It's going to be extremely cliche. She's going to be partying on a yacht with some models. The models are a little distracting. They're clearly gay, and one of them's very cute. As the ladies are arriving, they were really expected to know choreography for this music video. Of course, none of them learned it, and I don't know why Adriana was expecting them to. We see Gertie still feel some type of way about Alexia, and then we see Marisol arrive with what in her hand? Alcohol. Of course. The ladies are treating this whole thing as a party, as the director is actually trying to make a video, so he's getting increasingly annoyed. We see that Lisa showed up to the video shoot, but she has no intention of participating. She just came for support for Adriana. I found it funny that it looked like she only showed up for like maybe 5 minutes and left. Probably another forced appearance by production. We see the director starting to curse now because virtually no one is listening to him. The ladies continue talking, and Julia and Larsa are having a conversation, and Larsa just winds up telling her, oh, so I heard that you were at this hotel making out with a guy. This same rumor that she already told Marisol and Alexia. Now, Julia looks very taken aback by this and denies it, but Larsa, it looks like she got some specific information and some receipts. So then Julia kind of backtracks and admits it. I mean, Larsa knew what she was doing, but Julia said it was nothing serious. So the video shoot continues, and now Marisol sexually harassing the dancer. Lucky her. Anyway, the director is over it. They're filming this whack video, and Adriana shouldn't have got those dancers because my eyes are not on her at all. As ladies are talking about Lisa, Alexia says something to Gertie, and Gertie blatantly ignores her. Alexia doesn't let this go and asks her, like, what's going on? Gertie tells her she feels dismissed by her, as well as the original reason, which was her comparing her bachelorette party to her brother's charity event. Now, instead of Alexia just apologizing and taking accountability for her behavior, she resorts to white woman tears. Oh, you knew how important this day was to me, Gertie. I can't believe you would do this. Gertie doesn't flinch at all. She's like, okay, girl, well, I was crying too that you were comparing your bachelorette party to my brother's event. We cut to Gertie's confessional and she calls BS and says, oh, two can play that game. I won drama in high school too. I can cry as well. They going back and forth now. Alexia's deflecting, and now she's talking about Gertie's facial reactions and expressions. Then it's starting to get a little wacky. They start yelling at each other. Gertie says she's ungrateful, and Alexia says that she's full of herself. So Gertie brings up her deceased brother. She starts crying. Alexia brings up her son with special needs. She starts crying too. At this point, they're both going for the Emmy. Or maybe something lower tier like a Golden Globe. The ladies are just sitting there confused, and it looks like Gertie and Alexia both had too much to drink. So then after that, the argument takes a complete 180, and the ladies are saying they care about each other and what they like about one another, and then they hug it out. Argument solved, I guess? This reminds me of New York, of course, when they would just fight each other and then make up like 10 minutes later. This is classic Housewives, and I am very pleased. So the video shoot continues, and it looks like they finally finished filming it. Afterwards, Julia lets the ladies know that she's hosting a party at her new house. They're all invited. And then Larsa takes this time out again to bring up what she heard that Julia was making out with another man. Her reason being she wants to know how relationships work in 2022. Well, clearly modern, seeing as you yourself don't mind dating your ex's former teammate's son. Julia again explains that it was nothing and they were just giving the press what they wanted, but they're still interrogating her. Then Kiki jumps in with a question saying, oh, so Martina doesn't care if you kiss a man or a woman? Can y'all leave that lady alone? Clearly she don't care. Like, mind y'all business. So then Adriana has had enough and says, can y'all cool it? Stop asking her a question. I see what y'all doing, okay? And I don't blame Adriana. Like, if that's my friend getting tag teamed and interrogated, I'm gonna jump in too. Also, Adriana made a good point. Last season, Julia tongue kissed Lisa and nobody thought anything of it. But now her kissing a man is like a problem now for y'all? Kiki says, well, that was a game. Adriana says, well, how you know what they were doing wasn't a game? Like, you don't know shit. Soon as she said that, Kiki went off. And then as Kiki's going off, then Adriana just storms off. Kiki is like, fuck that bitch. I'm the only one who actually went to rehearsal to support her ass. And then out of nowhere, she takes a big bite out of a burger from Burger King. Now, I have questions. Number one, who brought Burger King? Like, they're on a yacht filming a music video. There wasn't food provided. And 2, was Kiki the one that bought the burger? Because then she says, if I eat this burger, that means I'm gonna bloat, so y'all can't even use me on the video. Which I'm thinking, they already filmed it. So yeah, maybe that was questionable editing, but Kiki never changed, even though it was her fault. In my opinion, why y'all continuing to interrogate Julia when she already told y'all asses that the kiss meant nothing? With that over with, next scene we're with Gertie at home being a boss bitch. She lets us know that her wedding planning business is booming and she's in high demand. And we're seeing a little bit of her home life with her husband. I love them together. I really do. Like, they're a very cute couple. Next, we're with Lisa and her kids, and the majority of this scene is her in her confessional talking about her situation and just saying that she's mostly worried about her kids. So then it's the next day, it's the day of Julia's party. Gertie arrives first, and Julia's telling her that she disinvited Kiki because of all what happened at the video shoot. So for one, she says she don't want that drama in her house, around Martina and her daughter. And second, she thinks Kiki tried to sabotage, her good friend Adriana's video shoot. In the flashback, we see Kiki approach the director saying take her out the video, and if she sees her face in the video, she's gonna sue him. That's pretty petty on Kiki's part, seeing that she volunteered to be a part of this music video. You can't just change your mind because you're mad at her now. I'm sure before they even started the video, they had to sign like releases or something. So then we see a few of the other ladies arrive, and Marisol does not drink champagne. Would you look at that? I just thought as long as there's alcohol in it, she'll drink it. So before Larsa arrives, the other ladies are discussing the rumors she brought up at the video shoot. Julia says she peeped game at what Larsa was trying to do, and she still invited her to the party, and it looks like she actually wants her to bring it up so she can bring Martina into it. So now that everyone's there, we see Larsa asking Adriana, like, how was the video shoot? Are you happy? Adriana's like, happy? You bitches ruined it. So then we see a flashback of her talking to the director, and the director's telling her she didn't get enough shoots for the video. Now, is it the ladies' fault that happened? Because we saw that the video shoot was over, and then they were just chilling and talking. Adriana brings up that Larsa attacked Julia, and then Larsa feels like she didn't do anything wrong. She asked Julia, did you feel like I attacked you? And Julia's like, well, it did seem premeditated on your part. And I agree, like, Larsa brought it up not once, but twice to get a reaction out of Julia. Like, for instance, what if it wasn't okay if Martina found that out? Like, she was trying to put Julia on blast and embarrass her. Larsa continues to say she felt like it wasn't a big deal. But Larsa, what if somebody came to you about something they heard? Like, for instance, when Shade Room said that you were sleeping with a married man. So now Martina enters the chat, and I just love how unbothered she is by all this. So Larsa repeats the rumor to her, and Martina's like, well, I'd rather her kiss a man than a woman. They all laugh, and then she says, I remember this one was jealous because I kissed Gwyneth Paltrow. Okay for the quick name drop. So yeah, after that, that silly hearsay is squashed. Now, could y'all imagine if this was Potomac? That shit would go on all season. Oh, so I just realized that Lisa wasn't even at this party, so she arrives, and at least she looked good. Like, she looks bad in that black dress. Does anyone know why Marisol calls her monkey? I just wouldn't want anyone to call me that. I mean, of course because I'm black, but even if I wasn't, I still don't want to be called monkey. Lisa's telling the ladies that every day is getting worse and worse, and she doesn't know why he's telling the press that they're still trying to get back together. I mean, at least all the ladies are supporting her, and I love to see that. Because even someone like Lisa doesn't deserve the public humiliation she's going through. So a little later, most of the ladies leave, and now it's just Adriana and Nicole at Julia's house. Julia's not talking about Lisa's situation and how it was like a loud bell for her to pay attention to her own marriage. We then get a cute scene of her and Martina jumping into the water with the sunset in the background and being all lovey-dovey. And then you got Adriana and Nicole like cheering in the background. And that is where the episode ends. They ended on a nice note. I liked it. Like, this season so far has been flawless. Like, I'm trying to remember a season that was this good. Probably Beverly Hills the season before last, because Miami's just hitting it out the park, y'all. Today is Thursday, so I know the new episode is tonight. I'm going to get to that later in the week. I still got to do pop roast. So with Salt Lake City, I'm going to do something unprecedented. I'm gonna do all 3 episodes, like the last of the season, together because they disappointed me. I'll probably have the review out by Friday, but yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thought about these 2 episodes of Miami. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.